Hello students, I am Ramachandran, Assistant Professor, Department of English. In this video, we are going to see sentence pattern. Before discussing about sentence pattern, we must know what is sentence. A group of words which gives meaning and stands complete is said to be sentence. Though a group of words which gives meaning but it stands incomplete is said to be a phrase. A phrase is different from sentence. A phrase can also make a sentence, but a sentence cannot make a phrase. Every sentence will be in a certain pattern. To identify those patterns, we have certain components such as subject, verb, object, complement, and adjunct. Subject is marked as S, verb is marked as V, object is marked as O, complement is marked as C, and adjunct is marked as A. Subject. Subject is a word consists of noun or pronoun. We have already discussed about noun and pronoun in our parts of speech class. I will explain briefly here. Noun. Noun is a word refers to a person or a thing or a place. Pronoun. Pronoun is a word which replaces the noun such as he, she, it, they, and etc. Subject usually occurs before a verb. Example for subject. Gayatri danced well. In the sentence, Gayatri is a person is referring to a noun, so we will mark it as a subject. Second example, the child broke the glass. The child is referring to a person, is a noun, so we will mark it as a subject. Verb. In every sentence, the most important word is verb. A verb shows an action, an activity, or a work done. It consists of auxiliaries and finite verbs. Auxiliaries are nothing but is, are, was, were. Such things are also said to be verb. Modal verbs such as can, could, may, might, will, would. Such things are also said to be verb. Example for verb. He is a doctor. In the sentence, he is referring to a pronoun, so we will mark it as a subject. And is, already we have said, auxiliary verb. Auxiliary words are also said to be verb, so we will mark it as a verb. Next, Vignesh wrote a letter. Vignesh referring to noun, so it will be subject. Wrote referring to a action, so it will be the verb in this sentence. She is crying. She is referring to a pronoun, so it will be the subject. Is crying is denoting an action, so it will be the verb. Object. To get the object O, it will ask the question what or whom. What is for things and whom is for persons. Persons may be nouns or pronouns. Usually in a sentence, whenever there is a second person, it will be marked as an object. Object is of two types, direct object and indirect object. Whenever a sentence contains two objects, we have to distinguish it and say whether it is a direct object or indirect object. Whenever a sentence contains only one object, we need not to distinguish it. Examples for object. He bought a pen. Here, he is a person, so it will be the subject. Bought is some kind of action, so it will be the verb. A pen, it is a thing, so it will be the object. And it is answering for the question what he bought, so it will be the object. He handles the computer. He is a pronoun, so it will be the subject. Handles referring to some action, so it will be the verb. The computer, so it is a thing, so it will be the object. I saw him. I, it is a noun, so it will be the subject. Saw is a verb, so it will be the verb. Him, here him is the second person, so we have first person called I. Him is the second person, so we will mark it as a object. Direct object and indirect object. I have explained earlier. though I will explain it again. So direct object always answers for the question what. Indirect object always answers for the question whom. Whenever a sentence contains two objects in a single sentence is we have to distinguish it and mark it as direct object and indirect object. To identify direct object and indirect object, a word should answer what. If a word answers for what, it will be direct object. If a word answers for whom, it will be the indirect object. Examples for direct object and indirect object. My mother gave me a book. My mother is a subject, gave is a verb, me is an object, a book is an object. We have two objects in a single sentence, so we have to distinguish it as indirect object and direct object. Me is a second person, so it will be the indirect object and it answers for the question whom. A book is a thing and it answers for the question what, so it will be the direct object. I gave her a pen. I is a subject, gave is a verb, her is an object, a pen is also object. So we have to distinguish it as indirect object and direct object. Her is a second person. We have already first person called I in this sentence. So her will be the indirect object and it answers for the question whom. A pen is a thing and it answers for the question what. Complement. Word or a phrase required to complete the meaning of a sentence is called complement. And it usually used to complete the meaning of a sentence. Without it, the meaning seems incomplete. It also refers to one's occupation. So such things are said to be complement. Examples for complement. He is a dentist. He is a dentist. He is a subject. Is the verb. A dentist is referring to a profession. So it will be the complement. Aishwarya became a journalist. Aishwarya is subject. Became is a verb. A journalist is referring to a profession. So it will be the complement. Complement occurs in two patterns such as SVC and SVOC. And I have given examples for SVC and SVOC. Kindly go and look into it also. Next, we will move on to adjunct. Adjunct is a word or a phrase added to qualify or modify other word or words in a sentence. Adjunct usually refers to place or at time. It will answer for the questions why, when, where, and how. Examples for adjunct. Gayatri comes every day. Gayatri's subject, comes is verb, every day is referring to time, so it will be the adjunct in this sentence. They bought tasty fruits. They is a subject, bought is a verb, tasty fruits. So it is answering for the question how, so it will be the adjunct. He went to Chennai. He is a subject, went is a verb, to Chennai is referring to a place. So it will be the adjunct in the sentence. We have discussed detailing about sentence pattern with clear examples. Kindly go and look into the slides to have a clear understanding. And thank you.